Wow, that was one set after another, or one wave after another. It's not difficult, but very hard to paddle out. And that you just kind of have to wait. Ooh-wee. Get a little tired. Push me way back towards the pier. Having to work back into position. I think I'll just run this consecutive so you can see what a several minute paddle out looks like. Even though it's calm, it's just a lot of work. Once you go in, sometimes it's hard to get back out. A lot of paddle. That's how far I drifted. Quite a ways. It pushed me way north. Taxing on the arms. That was a good workout. I'll have to pass this one by because my arms are toast. Woo-wee. Arms are toast. I'm still getting pushed north from the storm wall, or the, I don't even know what you call it. Very tranquil. Let's go again. I'm drifting. You'd think I'd be an Olympic swimmer after all this paddling that I do, but nope. Ay, ay, ay. Up and over, up and over. Up and over. I think I'm gonna go up and over this one too. I need a breather. And maybe I'll go on this one. See if I have to take a break or something. Nope.